Let me tell you, I
Okay.
believe that all of us are grieving. We're grieving the life that we don't have anymore. We're grieving since COVID. Things have changed so drastically. And we need to remember that grief, you go into grief not just when you lose somebody, but when you lose your job, when you lose maybe a body part in trauma, you lose your mother. I mean, just the list goes on and on and on. And so if we lose the life that we were living, we lose a bit of our identity. And that's one of the really hard things. If you don't know who you are, then you don't know what to do and what makes you happy. And I believe everyone in our society and probably many others are walking around with acknowledged and untreated grief. And we don't know what it is, so we think it's stress.
That's so powerful. Yes. We don't know what it is, but we just mask it as stress. There you go.
Yeah. Okay, if I can get my act together, this stress will go away.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
It won't. And the thing is, women take on so much. We carry such heavy loads. And it's not just what you've taken on as you've grown up, but there's such a thing as generational grief and stress because it changes one's DNA and then you pass that on to the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. If we don't break that cycle, then the people coming after you, your family, is going to suffer too, like you.
Welcome to your Wordless Podcast, the space where we redefine success, self-worth, and transformation. I am Nick Nieras, the soul-centered architect of transformation, helping you unlock your highest potential and build a legacy beyond limits. Now, whether it is self-mastery, career breakthroughs, or wealth creation, this is where change begins. Now let's dive in.
Are you stuck in a job that you don't love, feeling like you're meant for more? It is not in your head, it is in your soul. I am Nick Nieras and I help high achievers like you break free from burnout, rewire self-doubt, and build a life aligned with purpose through coaching, hypnotherapy, and soul activation. Because let's face it, real wealth isn't just about money, it is about a aligned and happy heart, mind, and soul. Now, remember, you are worthy and you are enough. Let's transform your life together. Visit www.thenicknieras.holisticlifestyle.com to begin. Dr. Lynn, can you first share with us what was it like growing up as Dr. Lynn Banis? I
So
don't.
I grew
It's
up in a wonderful little town in southwest Michigan. And this probably really dates me really well, but my husband used to call it Mayberry on steroids because it was just such a loving little town. That's pretty old, but it was really right.
okay. So, all right. So tell us your backstory. I read your profile and I think it's super powerful. So for those listeners, I didn't read that part of your story. Can you share with us what happened?
Sure.
And yeah.
After I retired, my husband was retired, I brought my 100-year-old mother to stay with us because we needed to make sure she was okay. And she was wonderful. She went up and down steps. She used a cane, but that was it, sharp as a tack. And she stayed with us until she passed at 106. And then within just a few months, my little brother passed away. That's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to lose your much younger sibling. And
I'm so
then
sorry.
that's okay. Thank you. And then my husband passed away. So I was in the midst of very deep grief for, complicated because there were three really important people in my life. And I struggled the first year as everybody does. But after a while, I started thinking, I can't stay here. This is horrible. I don't want to stay in this place. And so I started thinking about what I did to get myself through. And I'm fortunate because I have a doctorate in organizational behavior, human behavior, and I've coached executives for about 40 years. So I know a lot about the human beings and how they act and why and all of those sorts of things. So I went back and looked at all those techniques I had and tools, and I said, man, I have what it takes to help people. And they don't have to go through this alone because I believe nobody should have to go through it alone. It's just too devastating. So from that, I started focusing on widows and helping them not only transform their life, but the way I do it is helping them unload, uncover all the junk that they've taken on as human beings. And we know that's a lot because women keep the house and they, make sure the kids are here and there. They do the food, blah, 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 and it just is overwhelming. So I help them unpack that stuff and get back down to who they really are and what they came here for so that they can live their purpose. And then we take that stuff along with a lot of things that we learn along the way, that I help them with some psychological things like aligning values and beliefs and getting rid of limiting beliefs and all the way to doing some work around what are they like when they are in flow, which means they are doing something that they love doing, that totally are into it. They lose track of time. And so what's that like for them? And then not only what are they doing, but what's the environment that supports that so they can extend it? And then we start to vision the life they want to lead once they really know who they are. And then after that, that's a one-on-one process. And after that, they can go into what I would call a mastermind type program where I have a number of women in there who are in the same situation and they help each other implement that new life and support each other through, the changes that are happening. So it's a very, very powerful program. And I haven't seen anyone that has slipped back into carrying those burdens and being so emotional. And so I'm just really thrilled that you invited me to do this so I can get the word out.
Mm-hmm.
And let me also say that I have moved past just widows and I'm focusing now on women, mostly 45 and above, because there's so many people in business that are just suffering and so stressed. And that doesn't mean other
Gosh.
women don't, because they do. So I'm
Yes.
open.
Yes. So, okay, I want to reel it back into, I know we talk about grief, right? And it's not talked about like as often as it should be. So, why do you think that is so, Dr. Lynn?
Well, I think it's because our society has made it so. And so we haven't been taught what to do and how to express ourselves when we're grieving or when our friends or family is grieving. And that's kind of an ancillary thing that I'm doing is I'm trying to do a lot of talks with various groups to help them understand what they can do. Tend to either go in and take over the place or bring a casserole and disappear. And it's because we don't know how to
That's
act.
a powerful one.
Yeah. We don't know how to act, so we avoid because we're afraid we're gonna
Yeah.
hurt somebody's feelings or say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. But there's such simple things that you can do that don't put you in an embarrassing spot and really help without much effort on your part.
So you're saying from the person who's experiencing the whatever that life unfolding before you, and also you do also help people who's within the vicinity of that person who's experiencing that.
Yeah.
So how do these two groups of people differ?
Well, sometimes the group is also grieving for the person. For instance, I have 3 daughters and they were grieving very much. And then the grandkids because we're close family. And so what I tend to do with clients and their families is help them understand the process because we don't even know that. We don't realize that it takes at least a year to be able to really manage your emotions pretty well so you're not don't break out crying every time you talk about it and probably 2 years to get a lot of the other stuff straightened out. I think the second year can be harder. And that's what I have seen because you realize, "Hey, this is
It's
not
really
going
gone.
away." This
Yeah.
is real, and I'm stuck here if you haven't worked on it. And that's very dangerous because we know that a kind of suffering can lead to physical and emotional issues. And it's now been verified scientifically that dying of a broken heart is a thing.
Hi, I'm Nick Nieras, your host of the Your Worthless podcast. Now, if these real raw stories hit home, don't wait. Please follow, like, and subscribe my Spotify and YouTube. For bite-sized inspirational reels, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Don't wait. Your transformation starts today. Thank you, and bye for now.
Okay.
It's heavy.
Woo! It is. It is. All right. So the first year you were stuck basically. And then the second year, what did you do that was different than the first year? And at which point did you exactly say, enough is enough? I'm going to set up something. I'm going to start talking to people. I'm going to put myself out there that I figured these things out. This is my processes. And now I want to help people. Like, what was your journey?
Okay. I did what I would not ask my clients to do, of course. I'm a go getter. So I got busy. I realized my big house is way too much for me to take care of and things needed to be done. So I sold the house and I bought a smaller house and I moved and I took care of my family. And Bill died in January. By about Thanksgiving, I was still a mess, and my daughter had Thanksgiving, and I couldn't go. I just could not do it. And we somehow stumbled through Christmas, and then I was sick for 3 months with one thing after another, and I thought, "Okay, body, I hear you. I have to slow down and get things together." And that's when I kinda had the epiphany that I've got all I need. I can help people. So after that, I started, pulling things together and studying and all the stuff that you need to do before you can get started with something like this.
So, say a client comes to you now, right, Dr. Lynn? How would you start the session?
Well, I started first in what I call wisdom circles, which are, 6 to 8 max women that we just kind of sit around and for 6 weeks they get acclimated to me, they get acclimated to understanding and naming their emotions, and we talk about how you let go of things, and then they have the option of coming to a 12-week one-on-one with me. So I already know what their issues are, and not totally, but I know at least top level. And so, the first thing I asked is, what would make this 12 weeks beneficial for you? What do you want out of this? And, so we try to get a very clear idea of what their outcome is. And then we start working. And I do have a process that I use for that. And then, they're invited to the group that helps them actually start living their new life.
Mm. So you start them off first with a group
Small group.
mastermind, and then uh, because people find affinity when it's we're talking in a group, right?
Yeah.
Because one can be quite
Intimidating.
exactly. Yeah, I was trying to find the word.
Yeah.
Exactly. Intimidating and overwhelming, and you have to be vulnerable about why exactly you're feeling, why you're stuck.
Yeah.
And
So
I think most people,
that's why I do these small groups so that they can get used to each other. They can get used to expressing themselves and they build trust. That's one of the
mm,
most important things because nobody's going to tell you their life story if they don't trust you. Why?
oh my gosh, that is so, so powerful. Yes. Like, why would I tell you if I don't know you care about me or not? Or you're just there to, you know what's happening in my life and say, oh, so and so is, poor her, poor him. They're going through this moment, but that's it. There's no real value.
No. And there's something so powerful about saying something that you're experiencing and having a person sitting across from you say, I'm there too.
Yes.
alone.
Yes.
I'm there too. And so, then it's a let's talk. Let's see how we can keep them positive. Not, oh, this is terrible. I'm experiencing this. Well, if you're experiencing that, then let's go ask what you're supposed to learn from it.
I love that.
So that
I
turns it
love
into a
that part.
positive.
Yes. So I've got two questions now, and that I'm thinking about it. Number one, Dr. Lynn, what role does time play in healing, in grief?
Time plays a critical role. The thing is that everybody heals differently, and some take a really long time to get through those first 6 stages. People don't realize that those are not linear stages, the Elizabeth Kubler-Ross stages of grief. They're not linear. That you can recycle, go back. You can one day be angry, and then the next day you can be, I can't believe this happened. And,
Yeah.
so it goes back and forth. And you've got to get to the place where you are prepared for whatever comes, because for a long time you can be doing something and you hear something or see something, and this huge, huge wave of grief just crashes in on you when you're not
Yes.
experiencing it. So you've
Exactly.
got to get to the point. You can't make really good lasting changes. And that's what I'm interested in, is lasting changes. If you're not able to handle that, because you get the rug pulled out from under you and then you think, oh, I'm back at the beginning. Is this ever going to end? It won't end by itself.
Yes. So for all the clients that you worked with so far, Dr. Lynn, what are the top two or top three that you can think of that's very memorable to you or has had very, very big impact on their lives after working with you?
The clients.
The clients,
Okay.
yes.
I had one client who was a planner for corporate America, and back in the day when corporations had these big retreats and stuff and very high level. And so she knew a lot of people and she loved it.
Right.
But that went away, so her job went away. And as we talked, we were exploring the other things that she loved, and she is the most beautiful needle pointer you've ever seen. And she loves fabric. So, what she came up with, I'm going to take people on tours to different countries to study their fabric, and have really top-notch teachers come in so that they spend time learning. Man, it's been a big hit. Big hit.
Wa-
She's doing very well with it.
Wow. You see, hadn't you just have the courage to reach out for help, you wouldn't be able to tap into this deepest part of yourself where you can actually turn the focus into that area.
Mhm.
I know it's very important for us to honor who had passed, but it's also important to remember that we're still here.
Yes. And the
And
thing is, you don't forget that
mm,
person, and I help with this. You
yes,
just find a way to honor them in your life. You don't forget them, you just carry them differently. And they never go away, those memories don't go away, and you don't want them to, for the most part. So, I feel like for me, particularly, my husband was first in career services at universities, and then he ran the student services wing of the university. And he was always thinking about, how do these kids find themselves? How do they really get into the right jobs? Blah, blah, blah. And he also did some corporate training. So what I'm doing is quite similar to that. And I feel like it's in honor of him. We worked together before, but this, I'm keeping it up and thing it.
ah, ah, emotional. That's very beautiful. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dr. Lin.
Yeah. And I want to remind people, you don't have to start a business. If you
Yeah.
want to be a reader, be a reader. If that fills your soul and feeds it,
Mm-hmm.
then do that. And we might decide, oh, I want to go, give some talks at a library, a book report, or I start a book club or whatever. But you don't have to. You can do what I really work on, what feeds your soul. What do you feel wonderful about when you're doing it and after you're done?
Yes. Yes. So we're doing the work right now. We're letting people know that there's help and those people can come to you, Dr. Lynn,
They
for
can.
that.
They can. I would love to speak with them and just, what I do is I give them a free session to start with so I can just figure out what their issues are and if they're a good fit for my programs.
Beautiful. What are the issues widows face after getting through the 5 stages of grief?
Okay, well, they have been usually fairly blindly dealing with finances and legal stuff and, all of
Mm.
that, which in itself is overwhelming. But by the time they've gotten into the place where they can control their emotions a bit, they've got that handled. And I would just say, get somebody to help you. You cannot think straight. There's such a thing as grief fog, and it's real. Your brain is handling too much, and so it gets all foggy and you can't think. And when you're emotional, you cannot make rational decisions. So get somebody, even if you have to pay them, even if it's your next door neighbor that can just help you think through things because it will make a big difference. And then the loneliness is devastating. I remember thinking, I feel this in my bones. It hurts so much. And this is where friends and family can help so much because you don't fix somebody. That's not what this is about. You don't fix them. You help them heal and move forward. And you do that by being present. So I've got a friend that calls me every couple weeks. Hey, I'm just thinking about you. Just want you to know I'm thinking about you. That's all she has to say. You don't have to
That's it.
say anything. You don't have to have a discussion. The person probably doesn't want to have a discussion anyway.
Yeah.
Because, I had one client that said, I hated going out anywhere. I just wanted to curl up in my house with a blanket over my head. But one friend really insisted, and I said, okay, I'll come for you with coffee. And when she talked to me, she said, you know what? That was the first time somebody didn't try to fix me, didn't throw platitudes and empty words at me, but just sat there. She saw me. She was willing to be with me. And that's huge. Takes a burden off people that are trying to help too. So,
Exactly.
yeah, the loneliness is a huge thing. The brain fog continues for quite some time, and it will come back at times when you get really emotional and that sort of thing. Finding a tribe or community to be involved with is also a huge thing. I have nothing against grief circles early on, but I find that almost all of my clients say, I couldn't stay in it because it just became everybody felt so sorry for themselves. And then they get left that way. That's not healing. So finding a community that understands without you having to explain what you're going through, accepts you and builds you up. It's really, really important. So that's why I have these groups because they do that for each other. And
It's
then
like a warm hug.
yeah, absolutely. I found, and I think I've got a lot of clients who find the same thing. You don't want to go out. You just want to stay home and snuggle. Now, there's some people who are very extroverted, and that's what they want because it relieves them of thinking about, stuff all the time. So, what do you do with your social life? Because very often, a lot of friends have disappeared. If you're married, your married friends have disappeared. And I think that's because they feel uncomfortable because the other person isn't there. But, so what do? You have no friends sometimes. I've got several clients who have absolutely no friends and maybe a family member or two. And, can you imagine how lonely that is?
Yeah.
And they're not getting out and doing anything for themselves, which is also an important thing, self-care. Women forget they have to take care of themselves. They have to eat. Their body is still going and, it'll take muscle if it doesn't if you don't feed it right. And do little things for yourself. Put your makeup on, take your showers, do your hair, dress up sometimes. Just make yourself feel good. Take that leisurely bath, whatever it is that helps you feel good about yourself, because yourself is what is going forward. And if we can nurture that and you can get back to, a lot of people lose it, loving yourself, not blaming yourself, any of those things, then you can be clearer about what you want to do, where you want to go, who you want to be.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, Dr. Lynn.
You
I
will.
love that. Okay, so how is today's global political, environmental, and weather environment affecting those grieving?
Well, let me tell you, I
Okay.
believe that all of us are grieving. We're grieving the life that we don't have anymore. We're grieving since COVID. Things have
Oh,
changed
yes.
so drastically. And we need to remember that grief, you go into grief not just when you lose somebody, but when you lose your job, when you lose maybe a body part in trauma, you lose your mother. I mean, just the list goes on and on and on. And so if we lose the life that we were living, we lose a bit of our identity. And that's one of the really hard things. If you don't know who you are, then you don't know what to do and what makes you happy. And I believe everyone in our society, and probably many others, are walking around with unacknowledged and untreated grief. And we don't know what it is, so we think it's stress.
That's so powerful. Yes. We don't know what it is, but we just mask it as stress. There you go.
Yeah. Okay, if I can get my
Mm.
act together, the stress will go away.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It won't. And the thing is, women take on so much. We carry such heavy loads. And it's not just what you've taken on as you've grown up, but there's such a thing as generational grief and stress, because it changes one's DNA, and then you pass that on to the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. If we don't break that cycle, then the people coming after you, your family, is going to suffer too, like you, because it's not been taken care of and gotten rid of.
Now I'm doing some mental checks.
I saw that.
Okay. Dr. Lynn, what are you working on currently? What's exciting?
What's exciting? I'm filling right now a couple wisdom circles. I don't know when this is going to air, but they
Mm-hmm.
happen periodically through the year. So if someone's interested in that, I just need them to give me a call or a DM. They can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook. So DM is great. Then we can get together and talk. I'm doing a 12-week starting in the middle of August. And so that's really fun. And I'll tell you something that has been just amazing. And I think it can appeal particularly to people who are either retired and feeling the loss, or widows. I've been getting engaged in creating a lifestyle business where you think
Oh,
about,
I
what
like
is
that.
it that, how do I want to live? What's my vision
Yes.
for what I want?
Curating your lifestyle.
Yeah, I want to work 2 days a week. I want to work 3 days a week. I want to take a week off each month or whatever. Then you build your, or redesign your business around that. And people I'm working with call it the ungrind process.
I love that.
Where, stop the grind, and it makes you really look at what you're doing and ask, is this necessary? Or am I just spending time on this? What's the outcome? Is it working? And so I'm going to incorporate that when I'm working with people, because I think that that's really so important.
Do you know why I jumped, Dr. Lynn? It's because I'm on a mission to help people build a holistic lifestyle too. I too went through my trauma was my divorce back in 2019. And it was like a part of me was lost in the process.
Exactly.
So the last 6 years, those years were just me unlearning things that I've attached to the meaning of that relationship to me and how others perceive me as, and to relearn about what is actually true in my soul.
Mm-hmm.
And so also transition people to step away from external pursuit of, those material things. Not that they don't matter, but if they override of what's truly inside, then we have a problem.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. You can broaden that out to the other things you're carrying. Stop trying to run your children's lives when they're adults. They are
That's a good
adults.
one.
You are not responsible for their lives at this point, you know? So
Yes,
things like
yes,
that.
yes.
And you have to just say to yourself, what am I carrying that I don't need, that the person I am now doesn't need? And then, let go of it. Let it just flow out through your fingertips and dissipate. So, those are all really important things.
That like conditioning our younger ones because we know better,
Oh, yeah.
quote unquote, but we don't. There's a
No,
reason why they're there to teach us
yeah,
new things, to be honest.
yeah, yeah. And we've learned what we're doing from the way we grew up, and, we believe things, and then we need to look at them and think, what?
Are we really? Yeah. I mean, do we really want them to repeat this again and for the next generation?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good one. So we're gonna pivot to a self-worth question
Okay.
because my podcast talks a lot about self-worth. And the question that I have for you, how do you define your self-worth? Has it fluctuated before, or have you always known that, oh, this is it? This is me?
No, it was covered up with work and education and corporate America. And I was, like so many women, measuring my self-worth by my accomplishments. And the names I called myself, wife, mother, sister, daughter, all of those things. And I have learned to drop those, let go of them, because that is not fulfilling. What my self-worth is that person that I came here to be, living the life I came here to live. That's my self-worth when I'm able to do that.
I got nothing to add to that. Mic drop.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay, Dr. Lynn, what is your heart's greatest wish?
My heart's greatest wish is to reach as many people and help them as I possibly can with what I've got left of my life.
I felt that. Okay, if you could create a quote right now, Dr. Lynn, to leave to the audience listening in the world as your legacy, what would it be?
Leave a quote.
Mm-hmm.
Trust that you have what you need at this moment to keep going.
I think I needed that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. Awesome. Okay, Dr. Lynn, how can people reach out to you? Where can they go?
Yeah, they can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook. I do have a website. It's connected to an app, so it's a little bit hard to find. But I think the easiest is just DM me, and I will give you that information so you can put it, with the stuff. And also, I will send you a gift that people can download.
Awesome. All right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Dr. Lynn, any last message before we wrap this interview up?
Yeah, I
To our
just want
listeners.
to kind of explain where that quote came from. I believe that everything we do in our life teaches us something, and we accumulate all that. So when we think we can't do something, we need to think back. I have the tools. I've done something similar to this before. I've shown myself that I can do things that I didn't think I knew how to do. And trust that all of those things have gotten you to where you are right now. I guess one of the things is that we don't know how to reach those. We don't know how to get those and identify them and start using them again. So my advice to people is, if you don't have someone to help you, find someone who will take you by the hand and walk you step by step through the process to come out on the other side with a wonderful new chapter of life.
Wow. All right. Well, that is a wrap on today's inspiring episode with Dr. Lynn Banis. Dr. Lynn, I'd like to say thank you for the work that you do to uplift the world and the people around you. Now, for our listeners, this has been Your Worthless. Read that again, the juxtaposition of your very soul. Now, if you've ever find yourself feeling worthless, remember you are not alone. Your soul chose to be here to matter. And for that reason alone, you are worthy. A huge thank you to you again, Dr. Lynn,
Thank
and
you.
to all of you for listening. Until next time, I am Nick Nieras. Keep shining, keep growing, and always remember you are worthy and you are enough. See you in the next episode. Thank you, Dr. Lynn. And cut.
Love this episode? Now, transformation doesn't end here. Head on to at holistic.lifestyle_with_Nick. That is on my Instagram. Or head on to my website, www.denignerasholisticlifestyle.com for more info on my coaching framework, which is the Worthy, Authentic, and Abundant Framework, digital guides, and my upcoming events such as retreats and master classes and workshops. Now, I also do intuitive readings where we get to check on your soul path. And if you're also wanting to check on your energetic alignment, I have done that too. And I offer that kind of services. So, my question to you is, are you ready? Because I am. Let's create your together.
Hello, Dr. Lynn. How are you doing today? Good morning to you.
Well, good morning to you too. I'm doing great. How about you? I can tell by
I'm
the
doing-
smile, it's good.
Yes, it is so awesome to have you here. I'd like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for saying yes to be interviewed today and for coming onto my show. I'd like to introduce myself to you formally and to all of our listeners tuning in for the first time and our returning subscribers. My name is Nicolette. I am the creator for the podcast titled You're Worthless. Read that again, the juxtaposition of your very soul. Now, today we're going to talk about navigating grief and transforming that into your best life, and how to remain in that sovereignty of being with yourself. So, hello everyone. We have Dr. Lynn Banis here with us. Dr. Lynn helps widows transform loneliness into connection and reclaim joy so they can create a vibrant and fulfilling new life. Now, unlike most grief and resilience mentors, she doesn't let her clients remain in their pain and loneliness. She stays with them all the way through, implementing their new chapter of life so they can be assured they have truly transformed into their best self and life. Ooh, this is a very near and dear topic of mine. So welcome to the show,
Good.
Dr. Lynn.
Thank you. I'm so glad you like it. It's, most people won't talk about it. So this is
Right. They don't talk about it, but they're scrambling for resources online. So hopefully, if they stumble upon this podcast, it'll help them.
I hope so.
So